Tactical awareness is being able to apply strategies and skills to game situations. These are often used in games like netball or basketball. Sense is a part of tactical awareness. Game sense is the ability to make reasonable decisions and to be in the right place at the right time. Being able to adjust your play to the opposition's strengths and weaknesses is also key. A strategy is the goal or plan for a game, whereas tactics are specific actions and/or steps used to accomplish the strategy. Strategies and tactics are often used in invasion games. An invasion game involves attacking in an opposition team's territory to score a goal or point and keeping the opposition team's points to a minimum by defending your own territory. These games are normally played within a specific time frame. Invasion games include netball, basketball, hockey, and soccer or football. The skill used in an invasion game is spatial awareness. Spatial awareness is knowing where you are compared to the space and people surrounding you, then making a decision based off of this on where change your position in order to advance the play. For example, in this video of players playing football or soccer, we see the players looking around the field for space and trying to read the play. The players have good spatial awareness as they are running into space where they can receive the next pass. This impacts the game as it allows the ball to move quicker as there are more available players. The following diagram shows transferable skills which are used in invasion games. These skills can be applied and used in the game Skittles. An example is change of direction. If a team have the ball and are making their way up the field and then the ball is dropped, or if the other team gets an intercept, the ball is transferred to the opposing team. You have to quickly change the direction of play, run to the other end of the field, and defend the opposing team. Spatial awareness is another example of a transferable skill, which is relevant in Skittles. You have to be aware of your position on the field and be able to read the play and make decisions about where your next position needs to be to make ground on the field. Skittles is an example of an invasion game. In this mix of netball and touch football, there are two opposing teams who play on a quarter of a hockey field. There are 8 cones at each end of the fields with the aim of knocking down a cone to gain a point. 4 to 6 players play at a time. These players can run with a netball until touched by the opposing team. The player then has to stop and pass the ball to another player on their team before continuing the game. When a point is scored, the ball then goes to the opposite team's possession. The aim of the game is to score the most points in 7 minutes. Defensive strategies are important in Skittles as they are needed to try and guard the cones to make sure the opposing team doesn't knock them over. One example of a defensive strategy is using man-on-man defense. This is when each player from one team is marked up with a player from the opposing team. This is effective as it is easier to intercept the ball and stay with your player, so if someone is passing the ball, it creates pressure, or if the options are marked by opposing players. This strategy is often used in Skittles for these reasons. Another example of a defensive strategy is zone defense. Zone defense is where players have zones that they are in charge of defending on the playing ground. This strategy is often used in Skittles as normally the ball travels up the field rather fast if they are a good team. So if players are already in their allocated zones, then when the opposing team begin making their way up the field towards your territory, players are already there to defend the space. During the game of Skittles, there are often learner and environmental constraints. Learner constraints may include less experienced players or players who have less athletic ability. Some of the players did not have experience playing Skittles or games similar. Some of the players also have played more sport in general, so the skills were more advanced in the play. As shown in this image, players A and B are crowding around where the ball is being played. This adds pressure to the attacking team, non-bibs. Instead, they should have spread out to become an option to pass to. Environmental constraints include the weather or the condition of the field played on. Environmental constraints impacted the gameplay of this game of Skittles. This game was played outside on a quarter of a hockey field on the day it was played on. It was very windy, so the ball was often blown in different directions mid-pass, or the ground was uneven, which caused players to fall over. This meant a turnover to the opposing team. The bib team had many strengths, including good communication, great catching and passing, strong passes, effective line defense on the scoring line. They were also good at changing defensive strategy in the middle of a round, which will be explained later. The team also had good spatial awareness, which was proved useful as it meant the team were able to make positive decisions about where to pass to or run to advance the play. Despite these strengths, the team also had weaknesses, including some players with weak agility, so the opposing team were at an advantage when trying to get around players. Some players were not very fast, as the opposing team were able to catch up to the bib team. This impacted how the team played, as the play would often slow down when the ball was passed to the weaker players, as they were not able to run as fast, or often their passes would not go where they intended to go. So the opposing team had many strengths. Some of their players had lots of experience, so were very agile and fast. Their passes were a lot stronger and longer. They also had good man-on-man defense, which they were able to maintain for longer than the bibs team. They had taller players, or players who could jump high and intercept the ball from above the bibs team players' heads, as shown in this video. Weaknesses of the opposing team include lack of communication. The team were often stuck at a point where they didn't have anyone to pass to. They also used their stronger players the whole time. These players didn't get much rest time, so they became fatigued after a while. Once the strong players were identified, they were often targeted when using man-on-man defense, as they were expected to receive the ball the most or make them tired quicker through the pressure. The initial defensive strategy for the bib team was man-on-man defense, shown in this video. The strategy worked for about half of the 7-minute round, as the other team were not scoring goals, as this strategy allowed them to put pressure on their opposing team. However, towards the end of this round, it is evident that the bibs team became more fatigued from having to keep up with the same player the whole time, so started to lose their players or were not attacking as well because they were tired. This made it easier for the non-bibs team to score. Therefore, man-on-man defense proved to be an ineffective strategy. According to Breakthrough Basketball, zone defense is where players are assigned different sections of the court or field. For example, 2 players in the center of the field, 2 towards the scoring line, and 2 near the defending line. This made the bibs team better, as they always had someone in the right area for when the non-bibs team were making their way down the field. Another defensive strategy was used, line or sliding defense, which is often used in touch football. When the opposing team made it past the halfway line, the bibs team would all make their way to defend the scoring line. As shown in this video, the team would slide to the left or right of the scoring line, depending on which direction the ball is going. This is effective as it put a lot of pressure on the opposing team and made it harder for them to score. The modification of the defensive strategy from man-to-man to zone was a good decision for the bibs team. The non-bibs team were a very strong team, so zone defense was proven useful when they made lots of ground and the bibs team already had players in the right area to defend them. Skittles and invasion games are high-intensity games which require good tactical awareness and good game sense, as well as defensive strategies which are modified throughout gameplay in order to cater for the opposing team's strengths and weaknesses.